This is the self-publishing news for August the 30th of 2021. And boy, there is a lot of just relevant news right now. Let's just jump right into it. The very first item here is coming from the gang over at Book Award Pro. Now, I know this is probably not big news to anybody else, but it's big news to me. I've been let's see here. I've been using them since it was about mid-September last year. And in that time, I've collected not one, not two, not three, not five, not even 10. I've collected 15 book awards in the process while using Book Award Pro. So the news that they gave me this past week was the Amazon Self-Publisher, the compilation of the Amazon Self-Publisher series, got an honorable mention at the Hollywood Book Festival for the category of business. So I was pretty pumped here because I went on here and I looked at all the people that were honorable mentions. And who do I see on here? First of all, Self-Publish and Succeed with Julie Broad of Book Launchers. She's a good friend of mine. And also Denny Karen, who is the author of Catch the Unicorn. Both great publications. Go give them a read. Denny's a gem. I think you actually will like him. And look up his channel too. It's called Weekend Publisher. Denny does just awesome stuff. A really good shoot from the hip type guy. So if you like that type of thing, make sure that you go on over, take a look at him. Love me some Denny. Of course, Julie as well. I just assume that everybody is on Julie's Book Launchers channel. Okay, next item up in the news. I tell you, if you are not currently subscribed to Hidden Gems Books website or their email services or anything else, do so, because they're constantly putting out just great information. And this is actually a great example because we've been talking about author websites for the past month here throughout August, talking about, is it worth having an author website? And it's really good by Ginger. Ginger does a couple of articles for Hidden Gems Books and just really good. Talks everything about, is it worth investing in an author website, the pros and cons of actually having one. And then if you're not using a website, then you're clearly probably going to need to use social media. So there's the pros and cons of that, which is better. I really feel like this is a great balanced piece. So you ever get the opportunity, you can go over to hiddengemsbooks.com/worth- having-author-website, or just go to hiddengemsbooks.com and visit their blog. You'll be able to see it. I'll remember to drop a link inside the description so that way you guys and gals can get that here this Wednesday. Next up, this was actually a notification I got through the fine folks over at Publish Drive. They actually had grabbed an article here by Publishing Perspectives, another pretty good website. It is sometimes I know what I'm talking about, is the Association of American Publishers, who released a report here on August the 24th. And what they had shared was a big uptick when it comes to the U.S. industry. We're seeing an 18.1% increase in sales from January to June for books. So this is really cool. Across the entire U.S. book industry, total revenues in January to June 2021 came to U.S. $6.3 billion, up 18% year to date. So this is a great stat. If you're out there struggling and you're saying, well, there's nobody buying the books, then chances are you're probably placing yourself in a compromised position of some sort. And that compromise could be, maybe you had settled on a DIY book cover. Maybe you bought a book cover designer that was a little sketchy at best. Maybe your ad copy's not all dialed in. If you're not selling books right now, there's something fundamentally wrong with what you're doing. Now, I'm not admonishing you if you are not making sales. Please understand that. I think everybody goes through that struggle. But if for some reason you're the type of person that says, well, nobody's buying books, here's proof. People are buying books now more than ever. So if you want to fix that problem, it gets down to marketing and promotion. How are you putting together your package and how are you delivering it to people? What's the way that you're getting the word out? So great read, by the way. I'm not going to go granular on this one. I think it's just worth your time to go ahead and give it a look. So that is Publishing Perspectives. Has some pretty good information. Again, I got this recommendation from the gang over at Publish Drive. Speaking of different aggregate publishers, you've heard me gush about Lulu time and again. I'm actually working behind the scenes on some stuff with Lulu here in the coming weeks, and hopefully you guys will get some more information about that here relatively soon. But either way, Lulu put up a blog post discussing Goodreads versus StoryGraph. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, StoryGraph is kind of the alternative to what we have for Goodreads. Goodreads is social media for readers, like actual like people who really love to read books. And StoryGraph is this the alternative. And rather than me breaking into what they're talking about in here between the comparisons of all these different things on each of these platforms, I think it makes more sense for you to go give it a read. It's wonderful. Again, that's over on Lulu's blog, blog.lulu.com. I'm going to put a link inside the description for sure. I've actually used Lulu for a few different purposes. I've had some no content books I've put through there. I even tested it out for hardback books. And then, of course, more recently, I used their Lulu Express Shopify feature that they have. And it's good stuff. Right now, I'm trying to work on getting the API done with the website integration and Lulu Express. But it's not proving to be easy. We're just going to go ahead and leave that at that. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel and the main channel for more details about that. Next item up in the news, Gumroad just announced something pretty big today. If you're not familiar with Gumroad, it essentially is a space for you to go ahead and sell your products. You could have courses, you could have ebooks, you could have any number of things available through Gumroad. And the nice thing is the payout structure is pretty good. It's pretty good. And they've just made it even easier for everybody. In fact, now it's just a simplified pricing. There used to be a premium option and then the free option. I've always used free, and I sacrificed a little bit of money up front. But with the premium one, you're able to keep all of your earnings. Now they've removed premium, and there's different models that start out. The highest tier is now 9%, which means they take 9% of your earnings, which lasts until you make your 1,000th $1. Then it drops to 7%, then 5%, all the way down to 2.9% plus 30 cents. The same as you would pay Stripe if you use them directly. If you are published wide, I highly recommend that you consider putting your ebook to Gumroad if you're published wide. And the nice thing is you upload your PDF, they actually will put a watermark in the inside of every manuscript that's purchased. So that way, if it's distributed, guess what's going to happen? It's going to have that person's name on there that had got it, and it'll catch them red-handed. So you're able to really stop piracy somewhat dead in its tracks with that specific watermark. Now, I'm sure there's ways that pirates work their way around it, but the same could be said for Kindle Direct Publishing, Apple, or otherwise. Gumroad, give it a shot. It's starting to really pull in some great organic search volume, and I think it's really good idea for you to go with it. Now, some fiction authors are probably like, oh, that's probably not for me. Give it a shot. I know for nonfiction authors, it's dead simple. Absolutely use this platform. Fiction, I haven't heard anything from any fiction authors that have utilized Gumroad before, but it's certainly a great option considering, you know, let's say, for instance, you decide you're going to go ahead and distribute your ebook through KDP exclusive. Well, you're going to get 70%, no matter the price is going to be between $2.99 and $9.99. Anything outside of that, you get 35%. Go over to Gumroad, right out the rip, they're like, 9% is all we take. That's it. Boom. I love that model better. Now, does it have the same, traffic that, say, Amazon has? No, but it's certainly, again, something worth considering. I've already got a couple sales over there, so nothing that's earth-shattering, but I will tell you this, that it was one additional avenue bringing in some more money had I not considered going and publishing there. And then one more item here coming from the gang over at Kindlepreneur. They just released an article. This is actually by Dave Chesson, good buddy of mine. He says, keywords that actually sell books, broad versus niche keywords. A very good read. Loved it. Bravo. 10 stars out of 5 stars. Just really good. Talks about broad and niche terms. Goes through fiction and nonfiction examples. The thing that just is so startling is this little quote right here. 66% of all book shoppers start their book buying journey with Amazon's search bar, and 89% of those customers end in a purchase. And something that they also highlighted I thought was really good was, doesn't necessarily mean they bought a book. It just means that they bought something. Because, I mean, that's how Amazon works. It's almost like a fly trap. You might go there for books, say, I don't know if this is anything I want. Oh, you know what? I need to go get some scrub buddies or whatever they're called, or I want to buy a guitar while I'm still here. So I really found this article fascinating, and it kind of even goes and takes a peek behind the curtain of Publisher Rocket and how it actually deciphers some of the data that it's bringing in. So if you already have Publisher Rocket, highly recommend you get it. Go over to dalelinks.com/rocket if you have not tried it out yet today, or just visit this article. Again, that's over at kindlepreneur.com. It's broad versus niche keywords. Very fascinating read. That's the news for August the 30th, 2021. Which piece of news did you find most insightful? And what's some information that I could have covered today that you found out over the past week? I'd love to hear from each and every single one of you.